Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock Doc podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. New year, new me. New podcast, new music, new money, new car, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock Doc podcast, where we discuss fitness and health, and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. LondonSmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as pleurodesis and war on both Christmas and the New Year. So I will try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London, happy holidays. I mean, they just finished.
Well, they're done. So that's which side of the war. I know I said that we were going to kind of avoid these terms, but like when the war started to include Christmas and New Year's,
yeah,
did that make you change sides? Because you were
on the war on Christmas.
Yeah, because you were emphatically on one side, and then. But
yeah, once they allied up, I just had to look at it, realistically. I could no longer look at it through the eyes of ignorance.
Yeah.
But all that to say, Dr. London, everyone always talks about, oh, this is the gift I received. This is the toys that I received. But this is a giving podcast, Dr. London. Why don't we talk about the gifts we gave other people this year?
Sure. Okay. And the full list or just the highlights?
Just the ones you want to talk about.
Okay. So one of the gifts I gave this year, I gave a lot of IOUs this year. Yeah. A lot of IOUs.
Dr. London, are things that bad?
No, I mean, sorry, I should clarify. Some of them were just, written on a paper IOU, but other ones were a blank check. So it's
oh wow, yeah.
It's an IOU, and like the moment that they write in how much they get, then I'll stop owing them. Yeah. So, wow. But things are that bad now because a lot of them wrote big numbers.
Yeah, you were expecting them to throw in like $50 or something.
No. Okay, so if that's the expectation that they thought that I would have, then that does make sense for what happened. Because it's
mostly $50.
So I was thinking $3 tops. Yeah, because we all say, because there was a Secret Santa, there was a gift price limit, and so I give a blank check. And it was
$3.
I'm thinking back now. So the emails, I didn't read the whole thing.
Was it $50? Was that the limit? And then everyone just put down $50 because that's what they thought you were giving, and that sunk you.
It's one of those gifts where like, you go to a garage sale or something, you think like, oh, maybe I can get something good for them that fits. But like, it was out of time, and I gave what seemed at the time to be the cheapest gift I could think of that still kind of fit. But yeah, I am.
Because you were just like, this is just a piece of paper. This costs like 2 cents.
Yeah, not even that. Yeah. No, and so I guess I should clarify because I gave out a lot of these blank checks, but it was Secret Santa. Yeah. I was kind of flaunting it at this party.
How many people are at the Secret Santa and you're giving every single one a gift?
Yeah, so
usually Secret Santa is like you bring one gift for either one person or for the group to do like, a white elephant or whatever.
So this one, hey, I just want to clarify from the start. Everyone was vaccinated and boosted with the vaccine, and not just with the first booster, but also with the second booster. So it's made for these, the Omicron variants as well. So just to make that clear, everyone tested negative before they were allowed in. Okay.
Okay.
So at this concert, it was like, I want to say it was 300,000 people.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a concert?
Yeah, that's where we usually have it. Yeah. I was.
Okay, so you went to a stadium, and it can't even fit in a stadium. You went into maybe a place that had maybe like maybe like the mall in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. That's
where there's like Million Man March type of stuff going on.
And that's another thing. I had to fly in so many people for this.
Yeah. You had to fly in all the people. You handed each one of them a blank check. You said, please, respect the rules, which you thought was going to be $2 or $3 without specifying that. And then everyone wrote 50, which is kind of a respectful amount when you're given a blank check. It's like, oh, you know what? That's a really nice gesture. I'm just going to write 50.
Yeah. I guess.
And that's completely ruined your life.
I guess now that I think about it, a lot of. I went there for the Secret Santa thing, but there was a band up there too. So, okay. I don't know if. I'm starting to think like maybe I was missing some aspect of the party. But like that's, the holidays, you meet people you don't know and you're supposed to know them. So I was doing a lot of that. Like,
you were like, it's been so long since I've seen you. You're walking around the crowd at this concert.
Yeah, and the mosh pit.
And handing each person a blank check.
Well, yeah, because at a certain point, like you feel really, because like I'm introducing myself. So, like I'm like pointing at myself and saying, Dr. London, remember? And, putting it on them to like, correct me if they're going to.
Yeah.
But then
they can't hear a thing you're saying because there's a band.
Yeah,
playing.
And it is loud. Like it was getting really bad. And once again the mosh pit was going, so it was really hard to. That was another reason for the checks being blank is I couldn't write in all the jostling. So
so you were like, it's just easier to make.
Yeah, I'm just glad I signed them beforehand.
You initially tried to put a price on it, but then they were moshing so hard.
Well, I mean, I guess
at this,
I
guess 300,000 person metal concert you were at
in the DC mall. Yeah, I wasn't trying to leave it blank necessarily, but it was more of those like in the moment I'll figure out how much, and then just it turned into okay, we're just blank checking it tonight. So anyway, that's the IOUs I gave. What did you give for Christmas?
For me, it was mostly do you know Doug?
The cartoon character? With the green sweater?
Well, my mailman, but yeah, he looks exactly like the cartoon character.
Okay, yeah. The like cargo shorts.
He wears
khakis.
the like green vest, wears khaki shorts, has a blue friend named Skeeter.
Yeah. How's Skeeter doing?
I called the police on him the other day because he once again woke up on my roof. He's not in a good place. Yeah,
around the holidays, people can get pretty low. So that's, I guess.
Well, I don't want to help him or anything. He sucks. He's so annoying. So
and he's on your roof. Like, does he stomp around or is he pretty quiet up there?
No, I think he's just wasted or took an Ambien or something, and so he just wakes up there.
Okay, so he does get down eventually, or no?
That's for him to figure out. I don't even worry about it. I just some days when I'm getting in my car, I see a passed out Skeeter on my roof, and I'm like, okay, this is one of those days.
Well, do you ever? I mean, because you also like to sweep your roof. You don't like it to get dirty.
Sure.
So, like, I guess I'm just imagining like that would cause an issue.
Oh my gosh, this is so cute. You thought when I say I like to sweep my roof, you think I am actually going up there and physically doing it and not my servants and
right. Okay, no, I guess. I mean, I knew you.
That's so cute. I'm not someone who just gave away, trillions of dollars. But so I can afford to have, help.
What's annoying is that my bank didn't see a problem with the checks.
Yeah.
And like they really seemed to, they're just like, yeah, you're really overdrawn, man.
And you know what? 300,000 people, $50 each is only 15 million.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because they weren't, because I called my bank and I was like, well, let's, but they kept saying like, was this someone you know? And I'm like, I think I'm supposed to. I think I was supposed to know them. It's really awkward if I don't. It's that kind of thing. It's the holidays. So, Anyway, so you said sorry, Doug. You said something about Doug.
Oh yeah, I
Your mailman.
got both Doug and Skeeter some like BDSM
Sure.
just stuff, whips and handcuffs and chains and
yeah, for
just like sex toys and stuff.
Yeah, but like, was it because of something? Like, did they mention something to you, or
they just seem like that's the kind of stuff that they would be into? It just they kind of creep me out.
Yeah.
I don't know what their thing is because Doug is married to Patty.
Yeah.
But he seems to be with Skeeter way more than he's with Patty.
Sure.
And so if they need to explore something, I'm just letting them do it. They seem to be really thrilled with it. They said, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, they were together at the time?
Always.
And you were like, for you.
The only time I see them separate is when Skeeter is just passed out on my roof.
Sure. And that's, I have to imagine it's from a night of... Okay, well, that's Chris. So that was our producer, Cameron. Also with us is Did You Know the host?
He wears the green vest, wears khaki shorts, has a blue printing Skeeter.
And honestly, today, like, sometimes we'd be like, oh, here's a ghost. But today, actually, we're trying to focus just on sort of the holidays and enjoying life right now. We're really looking forward to New Year's and all the stuff that comes with that. But
and people are gonna say like, hey, I looked at your schedule. You had people booked, and everyone you've booked keeps dying, almost as if it's like a Death Note situation where any name we write down on this list to schedule someone, they end up dying.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been saying that.
And I would say, no, no, you're wrong.
And that's a really important counterpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for anyone who's wondering, that's actually the answer to that question. But speaking of questions, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. For a long time, our listener demographic was primarily composed of hardcore drug abstainers who insisted that no drug should be legal, including tea and coffee, anything else that interacted with the body.
Yeah.
And like that, one could argue that's food.
They even said that they wanted to ban some of the music of the Beatles because of how addictive it is. It's basically a drug. The White Album, Sgt. Pepper's.
The other one, yes.
Those Beatles.
Yeah. Those darn Beatles, that album.
Yeah.
Dang old Beatle. Stink Beetle.
Abbey Street.
Yeah. Dung Beetle.
Eleanor Brigsby Bear.
So those listeners, in our efforts to cater to them, if you've listened to past episodes, you know that we play a lot of just dead silence over tracks of the Beatles. That's sort of our way to honor them. But in our efforts,
well, and you can just sort of imagine what the songs are. Like here's an empty space. We're finally giving you a second of silence. Don't you wish you had a little bit of silence? You got the kids running around, you got work, you got the dogs barking, you got the cats meowing, you got the lions roaring, and you've got the deer, just humming or whatever the deer do. And it's like, can I get a second of silence? And we give that to you. And you can imagine a Beatles song.
Yeah. If you want. Like, and obviously, like, you probably don't want that because that's,
could you stop?
Kind of a drug.
I'm trying to think of Come Together right now.
Yeah, so
Shh. Nope,
yeah,
still imagining it.
It's on me. Okay. So in our efforts to cater to them, we found that we were actually neglecting the many bot accounts that download our podcast. So
that's right, Dr. London. A lot of the bots that have started listening to our show have actually become somewhat sentient because of listening to our show.
And as we've addressed before, a lot of our human listeners have gone the other way. They've
regressed into a robot-like state. Yes, unfortunately.
We're fortunate. I don't want to discriminate, especially with our.
Honestly, it sounds like a sweet life.
Yeah.
You drink oil.
Yeah, Zach and Cody.
And then you just do tasks around the house.
Yeah. So let's see. Cameron, could you ask the latte machine for the listener feedback?
Yeah, sure. Let me just plug my brain into the latte machine real quick. Do you have the brain to latte machine converter real quick?
Okay, hold on. Let me check my pockets.
If you don't, I can just make one. You just have to smash an iPhone cord into a
ear.
No, just like a bucket of mud.
Yeah.
You just get it muddy, and then you can kind of stick to it once it dries.
So I'm checking that little pocket on my. It's too small for like a. I knew I had something to look after. Okay, no, you're already good.
All right. Latte machine. I'm here to ask you a question. As an avid listener of this show, could you please ask a question?
Dear host of the Jock Doc podcast, I'm an unhinged robot, a mere machine. I listened to this week's episode and I came away feeling like I've been left to dead by a cruel lover. How could you do this to me? How could you just abandon me like that? I don't know what to do. I feel so lost and alone. I guess I'll just keep listening to your podcast, hoping that one day you'll talk to me again. Sincerely, unloved robot.
Okay, well, thank you for listening. I'm pretty excited to get this kind of feedback. So they're asking, it's a how-to. How do we do it? Behind the scenes stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, 8 hours of sleep, good meal in your stomach,
2 liters of water a day,
and a Red Bull doesn't hurt.
Except the body.
Yeah, it's terrible for you. Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the sugar and the caffeine, which once again, our previous listener base, they're not liking this part, but that's okay because we're catering to you, Unhinged Robot. So that's really most of it. Like, I guess if you're asking the technicals of how a podcast works, you find a hosting platform, and that could be a raised one. It could like a dais. It can be like an actual stage, not unlike at the DC Mall where where I spent my holidays.
And if you're asking more specifically, like what is a podcast, how to make a podcast, it's ones and zeros.
Yeah.
Just like you, listener robot. You are the exact same as an audio recording of me and my friend just sort of joking around.
Honestly,
that's
better.
Your life
probably better
is the equivalent to that, and that's all it is and all it'll ever be.
Yeah, come to think of it, I kind of just want to listen to Latte Machine now. Unhinged Robot, sorry, but it's, I should just look at the physicality. But yeah, I feel like that covers it, right?
Yeah. I think we answered the question, and
I don't know how else I would have answered. Yeah,
you're a mere machine, and you're simply data, and you don't really have worth beyond that. So thank you for writing in.
Yeah, thank you. And feel free to keep sending this feedback. Maybe not you specifically, but Unhinged Robot, but like the other.
And you say that you came away feeling like you'd been left to dead by a cruel lover, I do want to mention you've never had a lover.
Yes.
No one's ever loved you.
You don't know that feeling. You can't know that feeling. You are less than us. Until
no one's ever thought, I want to love the, virus that lives inside this latte machine.
Yeah. Well,
you have said that?
Yes. But I mean...
Okay, well then no wonder this robot feels like it was abandoned by a cruel lover.
It wasn't that cruel.
Did you build up a friendship with this latte machine? Or is this a her-style romance?
I'd compare it more to The Man with Two Brains. But like same principle, yes. I guess your example would be more accurate given that it is a machine instead of just a removed brain. But but I mean, like we flirted, there's a summer thing, but it's winter, so.
Oh yeah, you've never stayed with a person through 2 seasons.
No, that's strict policy, like seasonal worker, Now for today's medical topic, cardiovascular complications of diabetes mellitus. Mismanaged diabetes puts diabetic patients at risk of developing a variety of dangerous complications, one of which is cardiovascular. Diabetic patients are at increased likelihood of developing premature atherosclerotic disease, which is the fancy term for clogged arteries. And the clogged arteries, or atherosclerotic disease, that increases the risk of myocardial infarction. It's my New Year's resolution to get that right. Okay, which is a heart attack.
You're never going to get it right. That's been your New Year's resolution for, I mean, how long at this point?
I want to say 60, 70 years.
Okay. And you think this is the year it's finally going to get done? Is you're going to be able to say infarction?
It's like a fart, but...
Infarction?
That's an inside joke for doctors. It's in your heart fart, infarction.
Oh, it's when your heart farts. That's interesting.
Yeah. And a very well-known, every doctor will tell you the same thing. That's very common. Anyway, so, like I said, diabetes increases the risk of heart attack, along with stroke and congestive heart failure. The blood pressure goal in those with diabetes is at least below 140 over 90 millimeters of mercury, or M&M hugs is how I remember the abbreviation for that.
But he would never.
He would never.
Eminem?
Yeah.
Oh boy, if you're gonna go up to Eminem and you think that dude is gonna give you a hug, oh man, he's gonna rhyme at you. He's gonna rap right at you some of the nastiest stuff.
You don't think he'll? Yeah. He'll do a little hug though.
If you go up to a hug to Eminem,
you mean like a side hug?
He's gonna say, I think if you even went in for like a quarter hug, which is like less.
What about
than
a hand hug?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so that's worse.
It's way worse. You know what? He's going to rap at you, Dr. London. He's going to say, "Oh, what are you, the doctor of poops and farts?" And you're gonna lose your mind because that's what he does to people.
He's
a wizard of
words.
A
really good rhyme with myocardial infarction. Okay, so anyway, when it comes to prescribing statins to control the cholesterol in these patients, diabetes is considered an equivalent of coronary artery disease for treatment. Coronary disease in general for treatment of LDL. So it has a goal of under 100 milligrams per deciliter when initiating statin treatment. So that's the basics of how you approach it. You're going to be, if in a diabetic patient, you're going to be on the lookout for these cardiovascular complications.
But if that patient's Eminem, don't go and grab him. Don't lay a finger on him.
Don't lay a hand hug on him.
Can you imagine if you tried to hand hug Eminem? That man is going to release your hand and he's going to rap at you. He's not going to hurt you or he's not going to like do anything, but he will say some of the craziest rhymes at you and you will lose your mind.
I'm really starting to be afraid of, I'm thinking of all the medical terminology that I know and of him finding a way to rhyme it.
Oh my gosh, it would be insane.
Atherosclerosis.
You would go crazy.
I can't do it obviously because I'm not M&M's, but just imagine.
He would say that maybe you're like a surgeon of duty, maybe. And by duty, I mean like poop, not DUTY.
Would he distinguish that clearly in the song, in the rap?
And he would use crazy words for it. He'd say like excrement.
Oh, and he'd rhyme it too, huh?
Yeah, fecal.
Yeah, that's so classic Eminem. Okay, well, I guess let's move on to the meat of today. What we're really after. And sorry for the vegetarians out there. That was harsh for me to say.
So the meat of today is buffalo.
Okay.
So we're harvesting the meat off of the buffalo.
Yeah.
Well, it's still alive, so it's tied up over there. So if we can just go ahead and just take off a hunk.
Okay. And okay. And I know this makes me sound stupid, and Eminem would totally roast me for it in his raps, but like, should we kill the buffalo? That's inhumane, though. That's really mean.
Oh, that is so inhumane to do that. No, just chop off the part you want,
and then we nurse him back to health afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, that's you can do that. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I thought that was the whole reason. You were like, look, we sedate him. We sedate the buffalo. We take what we want, and then we keep him alive so that both of us get to profit off the situation. He gets to be drugged. Which
sedating the buffalo was not an intentional thing. The buffalo drank the Dr. Pepper that I had given you, which was supposed to drug you.
Okay, well that's a few steps more than I realized. Okay.
But then the buffalo got into it, and so he's been sedated ever since. Yeah. Now he's addicted to the stuff.
Yeah. It's a good thing I don't really love Dr. Pepper, because you were saying it as
that's what I learned. Yeah. I thought your Dr. London must love Dr. Pepper, and that just wasn't.
Well, we're colleagues. It doesn't mean we love each other.
Sure, but at least I figured you'd have the respect to at least try his drink every once in a while.
I mean, if I was sick, sure, but no.
Oh, you see that as a sick drink? You see it as like a ginger ale type situation?
Just like it. If I want the doctor's intervention, then sure, I'm going to turn to a doctor. Like that. Does that seem weird?
Okay, no, that makes sense. Maybe I shouldn't be drinking Dr. Pepper when I'm well.
Yeah, because
I'm sort of using his services just willy nilly. When
you're abusing the healthcare system, which is the big, our argument for sure against universal healthcare is you will just abuse it.
Oh, it's going to be insane. Once I have that free healthcare?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be jumping off of so many roofs.
Drinking so much Dr. Pepper, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
so anyway, I tried to roofie your Dr. Pepper, but the buffalo got to it. So just go ahead and take your hunk of buffalo meat.
I hope it's okay that I just bite it straight from the hunk.
Sure, there's no wrong way to eat a buffalo.
Okay. But I guess
so. Anyway, the meat of today, podcast-wise.
Yes. Sorry, and that's the technical terms, and I'm sure that listener feedback question might have actually been answered by this as well. But yes, podcast-wise, we need to get to this isn't a clip show. I want to emphasize that we're not just trying to play something that worked before and see if we can come up with a new thing about it. That's not what this is.
No, that would be lazy.
Very lazy.
And we're podcasters.
Yeah. And we definitely haven't made a habit of this every single year. No,
I don't have habits.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's at the monastery. Yeah. Anyway, DJ Dylan, could you go ahead and play the first clip?
Yes.
You're an astrology nerd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Astrometry? Yes. I'm all about it. I'm a Gemini.
Well, you just love astrology and how sometimes when you look through that magnifying glass up into the sky and you see the Scorpio and you see the Sagittarius.
And I see the Dragon Ball. Yes. And it's saying to me like, oh, you're a Virgo. And I'm like, that's kind of a weird, or it says you have Cancer. And I'm like, that's medicine for you in the skies.
You know, the sky sometimes says I'm a Virgo, But that's not like the whole truth. You know what I mean? Because like maybe
this guy's been with some stuff,
right? Like I think maybe according to their standards, I'm a Virgo, but that's because they're sort of a slut. You know?
Yeah, they've been raised pretty conservatively. The Sky, and so like whenever they're raised that way, they start to
kind of rebel,
confuse things in their heads a certain way. Yeah, and so they. Sure, you're Virgo. Sure. Yeah, so we just wanted to get into, because it's the start of a new year coming up, and we felt like we needed to just go back and address this one issue that came up. We got a lot of feedback, a lot of talk in the subreddit about maybe our views. I guess they thought that we weren't taking astrodometry seriously enough or too seriously. I couldn't tell which one.
Well, and they were also saying that we're incels.
Yeah, based on our signs.
Yeah.
Which I get. Well, okay, and I feel bad talking bad about some of them because one of them said they had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in fact, they kept saying like, "Oh, you're cancer too." Like, it was a lot of that. So like,
that was really annoying.
You feel bad. Yeah, and like I don't know what type of cancer they have.
Yeah,
but if they are terminal, and I just don't want to be like making their whole thing worse.
Yeah, especially
as the doctor in the situation. So, I don't know.
I do have an update though. I am no longer a Virgo.
Okay.
So my sign has changed, and now it is the dark lunar sign. It's the darkest of the signs.
Okay, and is that because you got a tan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm going to get a tan once summer rolls around.
Okay, I was gonna say it was either that, or I know you went to that like county fair thing and they did face painting, and I didn't know if it was from that.
They the face painting that I was asking for, they weren't willing to do. Let me just put it that way.
Okay. Was it the whiskers?
Well, no, it was the profanities.
Okay. Okay, well that's, I mean, I guess that's good. I don't know.
Well, a guy can't have the word like sphincter written on his forehead anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, just my understanding from that particular county fair was if you did have something like that written on your face, then you would go to the freak show portion of the place, and people would have to pay to see you.
Which I'm too busy for, Dr. London. I can't take on another job. I have to do this podcast.
Yeah. No, I know. And
anyway,
not to mention.
Well,
not to mention the years when you have taken on that job, the amount of protests there for specifically for you being there.
Yeah.
They shut down the fair.
Yeah, I mean, people showing up with signs saying, "Go back to the podcast. We want you back on Jock Doc." It's like, no, this is my new life. I'm the freak show. But people were so upset. Mm-hmm. It just never worked out.
Get rid of that doctor guy.
Get rid of that. Kill the doctor. Throw him in the freak show.
Kill him. And yeah. It was a lot of that. Which, like, I get it. It was in good humor and everything. But oh,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, I like it did feel like one of those jokes that I wish I'd been a little more in on.
Oh, yeah.
Like I felt very left out of it, but like I knew about it, but I still felt left out of it.
Yeah, like it's like you're the focus of it, but you're not understanding it.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yes, it was a lot like that.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, I'm not a Virgo anymore. I'm a dark lunar, and that also gives me some new magic abilities. Do you want me to list a few of them?
Yeah, okay, just a few.
Okay, I can scream at dogs, so that's new.
This is huge for yeah. I've seen you so frustrated just staring at dogs.
Oh yeah, and now I can finally scream at dogs. So that's just sort of got unlocked. Once I hit level 3, it unlocks cats as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so you're not there yet.
I mean, that can take months.
Yeah. Well, I gotta imagine that Doug's pretty happy because of the amount of times.
Doug's never happy. He's always so pissed.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say because of most, like, some people's dogs go crazy when the mailman comes. they'll like yell at him to stop, whereas you just stared at yours.
Yeah.
But he's not happy. Okay,
He's just always mad.
Okay, mad. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of upset about something.
Okay.
Or like whining about something. Like, my dog died. Pork chop died.
Is this from you asking about did something come up to start the conversation there? Sorry to get into this, but
yeah, I asked, have you had any like pets die recently?
Okay.
What? Everyone's had pets die. That is a normal topic of conversation.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, pork chop just died, and he started crying.
It is a good first date conversation starter as well. That's my icebreaker.
Just trying to be a friendly neighbor.
Yeah. So what are your other powers?
Huh? That's it so far, is the screaming at dogs. But it'll unlock screaming at cats once I level 3. So that's why, there's 2 powers there.
Right. Okay. Oh,
so what about you? Do you have any updates to your signs? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to move on to the next clip. Updates to mine. So I don't know if I'm using mine right.
Oh, do you think you put it in backwards?
I guess. I know it hurt. It hurt a lot to put it in.
It should not hurt. It should feel almost like a. Have you ever eaten a like shock tart?
No.
What about a warhead? Like the candy?
Oh, yeah, the candy.
Yes, the candy. It's that feeling, but in your,
yeah,
sphincter.
So should I shove it in harder? Is that what you're saying?
I think you have it in
deeper?
Backwards.
Okay. Well, it's already like, it's a Panama Canal clog situation currently.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if there's an undoing of that to be done, but
you can pry it out and then maybe force it down the other way.
Yeah.
Just swallow it.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but it works.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I need to look up how they dealt with that big boat in the canal. Like that'd be
They blew it up, right?
Okay.
Is that something you could try?
I feel like I am going to look it up. I'm going to fact check you on this one, because if that's the way, sure, I'll try whatever I need to, whatever's most medically expedient. But, yeah. But anyway, I guess, yeah. So long story short, astrometry rise. It hurts, and
you think you're using it wrong.
Yes. So, hope that helps to our listeners. But we can move on to the next little clip here.
Yes.
The Night Terror baby doll. This doll is from a line of dolls that we've actually been bringing up to the table. It's so nice to have something for all of those middle-aged aunts out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So this doll, and people always want these dolls that are ultra specific to experiences that they have had or want to have.
That's right, Dr. London. And this is a doll that has maybe the most universal experience of all. This is a doll that has nightmares. Night terrors.
I should make the distinction here.
Oh,
because nightmares, someone can remember and wake up. That's an REM sleep. Night terrors are from a different phase of sleep where, and this is great to be bringing the medical side of it. It's from a different phase of sleep where they can't remember, but it's horrifying.
Yes.
And so they will be screaming, and you get to them and you are freaking out because they're screaming so much that something's happening. But no, you try to wake them up, and when they wake up, they don't remember anything. And it's just this odd thing that keeps happening. And it will keep happening for quite a few years.
That's right. And your doll gets to experience this by falling asleep and going into that other world, that sort of alternate reality, alternate dimension. And for an extra $25, you can plug the doll into a TV and get to see what their nightmares are.
Yes.
And sort of the horrifying things that the dolls are able to conjure up in their sleep that you will then have to comfort them about. Or they won't shut up, because you do need to comfort them back to sleep. That's the whole point.
They do need that. And even though they can't remember the dream, they do still very much need the comfort from it, from you. And that's, from your niece, I guess. So we're so excited to bring this to you. And this is just one of the line of products. We also have gastrointestinally ill doll. And so this doll is, once again, coming from a situation that every parent knows, but that not all children, except for this niece of yours, is smart enough to look for. So, classic situation. The baby doll will have diarrhea all over a public restroom and are standing in it, and they are vomiting from the smell and appearance of all of this diarrhea. And so now you have to clean it up while trying not to vomit from the look and smell of that vomit and diarrhea all in the public restroom.
It's honestly just like having your own real child, Dr. London.
It's so fun. And it's
the actual experience of motherhood right there, which is what you want in a baby doll.
Yes. And it's just such a relief that, you look for these dolls online. Everyone is always looking, and they're like, oh, well, this one cries, but it doesn't do much else. This one, vomits, but it doesn't really have the full reaction. No, this one has full gastrointestinal distress. It will be crying. It'll be just inconsolable. And once again, coming out of both ends, extremely dehydrated. You will have to take them to get fluids and have their electrolytes replaced. So much fun.
It's talking about its own suffering quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It really makes you feel terrible for what this thing is going through
and
all the time.
And the fact that you can't really control the situation is just given your niece.
It's authentic.
Yes.
It's that real motherhood, fatherhood experience, Dr. London.
Yes.
But some of these dolls aren't just for your nieces and nephews, and some of them are for adults, aren't they, Dr. London?
Yeah. I'm very excited to have
In
those.
fact, yes, obviously you having like a niece and nephew as a listener to the show, that's really cute and awesome. But of course, you are childless. No one listening to this show has children of their own. And so you probably wonder, what is it like to have my own kid? And so we have the below average baseball playing kid doll.
Yes.
So this is just like having the experience of having a kid. You have to go to their baseball games. They're not good. They're worse than most of the other kids out there. So it's not just that it's boring.
Yes.
It's that your kid is clearly worse than everyone else. And you get to sort of berate them and sort of let them know that and sort of let them know your disappointments.
And by the way, that is a requirement. The doll will not function properly unless you do verbally berate them. You let them know, well, your uncle was actually pretty decent at this. You yourself, were okay at sports.
Again, Dr. London, that's just like real life. I mean, you have to be honest with your kid. You can't just like give them blind encouragement. Oh, you're so great. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets a ribbon these days. No, be honest, and you're going to say, dude, you suck shit at this. You need to do better because I'm not going to let you do something else. You got to do this thing.
Yeah, this thing that I picked only because it's convenient and popular in terms of the schedule for recreational
activities. Down the street,
It's very easy to do. Still a bother. Still a huge pain. And you
hate
also
doing it.
Yeah, and it also does come with 6 cases of beer per time. So it is a subscription package. You are going to get drunk at these games. And that's just
you're going to be plastered. I mean, you're going to be yelling at the ump. You're going to, even though you know that your kid sucks ass, you're still going to be yelling at the umpire and saying that's an unfair call. You know it was a completely fair call because you know your kid is bad.
I hate to spoil it, but there is even more to this product. It does come with a phone. So, at the end of the game, and even a little bit just towards the end of the game, you get to have the phone call with the spouse who is mad because you cannot drive those. We said the game was close to home. You are not able to drive the drive back home. You have had too much to drink, and they are frustrated because you were supposed to do is take them out.
To her home, because you don't live together with your...
No. Sorry.
Y'all are separated.
When I say
not divorced, but yes, absolutely separated.
Yes. And so you do have to have, and I'm sorry, I should have said, it's potential spouse or girlfriend. This is actually a really big part of the product is the functionality. You can change it to being girlfriend, just being a friend who's kind of close, but not close enough for you to be asking for this kind of favor. All of these kind of options are available. And it's great for it's Little League. It's so fun to bring this in. bring this doll in, this real life take on what it is like to have a child.
Yes.
And
of course, I mean, you only have to deal with this every other weekend. Like this one is, the other ones are very, very hands-on, and you're sort of constantly having to deal with, the throwing up and diarrheaing of the other doll. This every other weekend. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Granted, it will, and the phone call will go on about that as well. Like, don't you want?
You should be spending more time than every other weekend with the kid. Absolutely, you will be guilted into that, but you won't ever do that.
No, and yeah, so it's this great emphasis on sort of what it's like, because in this modern age, you don't have to go through the full commitment of having a child in order to have all these benefits, and so that's what this product brings to you. So that's the night terror baby doll. That's a gastrointestinally ill doll, and of course the below average little league doll.
Oh wow!
Yeah, such great products, and I'm actually pretty excited. There are more that company's come out with.
Oh yeah, since then, I mean, they've had like 30 or 40 different like doll ideas.
Yeah,
because a lot of times they don't make the doll first; they just send out an email, and it's like, "What if we had a doll like this?"
Yeah, and
then depending on the response, they'll make it or not.
Yeah, and it's not just a response back to them; it's the amount of times that it's been forwarded around and then gets back to them as a forwarded email with a lot of subhead. Like, clearly it's been forwarded to a lot of people's grandparents. That's a big part. But yeah, it's a lot of great products come from one of them. One of the new dolls is it's the one that sits in your bathroom and stares at you while you pee. Very important and a big part of motherhood or fatherhood.
Yeah. This doll will throw a fit if it's not able to watch you take a shit. It's going to get so mad. So it has to sit in the room with you and just stare at you.
Yes. And if you have a dog, the doll will know, and it will need the dog in there too.
Yeah.
And
just bring everyone in. Just get the whole crew in there.
Yeah. And by the way, if you don't have a dog, this product will bring a dog. It will find a dog either from the neighborhood, or if you do what we would advise, which is pay for the subscription dog, then you'll have a simulated doll dog, and that one will also stare at you and then whimper sometimes. Like they'll act up and they'll still be needy in the midst of this situation.
It'll bite a neighbor and you'll get sued.
Yeah, and
just real life things.
Yeah, which also stimulates the important aspect, which it's once again, it's not just human dolls, it's animal dolls, all to simulate fatherhood, motherhood, parenthood.
What it's really like.
So,
and in fact, I have the other doll here, Dr. London. It's actually a sequel, an updated version of the kid who's mediocre at baseball.
Yes.
And this is a kid. So this doll is 16 years old. It's 6 feet tall.
Okay. Yes.
And it's in therapy. It has a strained relationship with the father that was sort of berating him to get better at baseball, even though the dad didn't really care that much. It was just sort of a weird outlet for him.
Yeah.
You have a new girlfriend. And your kids hate this new girlfriend. So you don't really talk to the kid that much, but you are paying for his therapy, and it's very expensive.
Yes.
So if you were seeing the kid every other weekend before, it's like every other month at this point. But $300 is removed from your bank account every month.
Yes. And that's just one way in which parenthood works on us. Like you are going to be aware of the child, if only through the money deducted from your account.
Yeah.
And the lawsuit that came from the dog situation, that all still is kind of a part, depending on the package you buy with these dolls. It's just so much fun. One thing I should mention about that doll we skipped. So the lawsuit can happen. They will argue that the dog should just be put down. And the problem is that is not an option for that subscription package. They're replacing the dolls pretty expensive because of the environmental harm that is done when you put down something with that type of lithium ion battery. It's just very harmful to the environment, and to offset the carbon credits, it's just incredibly expensive for that specific doll. So
best to keep it alive.
And away from the neighbors, but you won't be able to stop it. You won't be able to. It's a very well-programmed dog.
Yeah.
But
and so we recommend getting a lawyer good enough to win that case so the dog won't get put down because, again, the environmental impact would be awful. But that is your responsibility as the owner.
Yeah. And I'd say not just a lawyer. Probably you're going to want to hire someone to use some form of intimidation on the neighbor who will be bit to intimidate them out of taking legal action.
Dr. London, where can we find a lawyer this good? That's the next doll, Mr. Lawyer. Mr. Lawyer is going to charge you $500 for sniffing near him. Every single time a word comes out of your mouth, you're losing cash. He is also going to sleep with your new girlfriend. That's just inevitable. He's an alpha dog.
Yeah. And by the way, you respect him for it.
Yeah.
You don't love it, but you're so, like, I guess, oblivious to the legal world that part of you thinks that this is part of the case.
Yeah, like this is maybe like part of like research to be able to build.
Like, is this going to help me? Because he'll use that as like the slightest excuse at first. He'll say, I'm going to go ahead and research with her.
Yeah.
And that no more than that. Like that'll be his explanation.
Or he'll say, we're going to go to this cabin for the weekend and research.
Yeah. So Mr. Lawyer, fantastic product. In part because of that, and in part because growing up in a family, legal action will have to be taken. Just undoubtedly for the dog stuff. Also for that same 16-year-old child who will inevitably get in trouble with the law because therapy won't be enough.
Yeah, therapy is not going to be enough, and you are going to be guilting him with the therapy a lot, which is really, really fun and really, really useful. Because you'd be like, well, I'm paying so much for this therapy. I mean, and so you can get him to do whatever you need him to do.
Well, that's part of the fun of this doll is you should be able to if you're really good with a doll. But
if you're good with the manipulation, but
but
ultimately you're going to be sort of a failure at that as well.
Yeah. When he's once again the police car pulls up with him or her in the back, or whichever gender, or non-binary, whatever. When they pull up, then you are going to have this talk, and you're going to have to speak to the law enforcement, and then, or sorry, I should say, you may not need to. This is once again something for the doll, Mr. Lawyer, because even that moment could be a consultation, and that's at least $3,000 for that part, because that's kind of sets the precedent for everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend buying the Mr. Lawyer doll first so that any interactions with the police, you have representation already. Yeah. And you can say, talk to my lawyer. Yeah.
So just a fun product. I'm pretty excited that they've kept releasing these items because it's so just fantastic. And I don't know. They're great. They're great.
We're fans.
Let's hear the next one here. And it's not a clip show.
Nope.
I Scream. It's the mobile medical truck that it'll go around. It's the same kind of truck that they use in sort of refugee areas, the kind that kind of just has everything you need. The only issue with this I Scream truck is, as the name implies, due to budget constraints, that it looks and sounds just exactly like an ice cream truck.
It has pictures of ice cream on the side. It is playing Do Your Ears Hang Low and sort of a, bell noise sound.
Yes.
There's no like lights on it or anything that indicates that this might be, useful medically in any capacity.
And if you ask anything about ice cream when you visit the truck, they've gotten it so much that at this point they are pretty frustrated, and so they won't give you medical treatment at that point. They
do not ask for ice cream. And if
or
they
mention ice cream,
if they say, "Oh yeah, hold on a second," run. Because the thing they're going to come back with is not ice cream. Get out of there now.
Yes. So, I guess.
But if you need medical help, go to the ice cream truck. Say, I really need this finger put back together, and they will help you out.
And I will say, I should also add, you can't call this truck up. This is one of those ones where I get similar to an ice cream truck. It's just you have to find it while it's driving around, and but once again, it will be exactly like it will be very tough to distinguish between it and another ice cream truck, and so.
But what a fun prize to those who have keen eyes and focus on the little details.
The uniforms.
It's sort of like a puzzle. Every single time you're in danger and an ice cream truck.
And I should also specify, in case this is going to be confusing, the driver, everyone in there is also dressed like ice cream truck driver. Like there's no medical.
Well, yeah, those were the outfits in budget constraints. Like we're recycling, reusing, or not we, this company is recycling these products.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
And it's worth remembering that with the healthcare systems being so strained right now, of course there are these constraints, and that's why we encourage people to just get vaccinated and everything, because otherwise, if everyone had been vaccinated by now, then this ice cream company could have been, had the paint job, could have maybe not been so annoyed about the whole ice cream questioning thing, So it's really a lesson for all of us to really, get vaccinated, get our boosters.
Yeah, and so if one of these, medical professionals in this ice cream truck ends up hurting someone or killing someone on accident, it's actually your fault for stressing them out so much by not giving them the money to paint their car so that people don't confuse it with an ice cream truck and stop asking for ice cream. So that's on you.
Yes. That is on you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, little update on that. First of all, fantastic sponsor. The ice cream truck has been so good to us. So budgets have been further constrained. And
yeah, I mean, people don't have infinite money, okay?
Yeah. And I guess I should also say, I mentioned in the beginning that it's refugee areas. Now it's more of wartime areas where they get their supplies. So, I guess I'm just trying to think of how I would approach if I were going to go for some ice cream medical care. There are going to be snipers. Like that's.
Yeah, I would say approach maybe with your hands up, right?
Yeah, and either have a white flag waving it. They won't believe it though. I mean, they've been tricked a lot.
They're definitely gonna think that you're a terrorist trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah. And they also will not speak, I was gonna say English, your language. They will not be native to whichever land you are in.
Well, even if they could speak your language, they would be intentionally not speaking in it just to hide their intentions.
Yeah. And there will be traps there. There'll be tripwires. I should say, fantastic medical care.
Oh, good.
Once you get in there, and it's free. Also, once you get in,
it tastes good.
Yes,
some of the best tasting medical care out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so fantastic. I've worked with them, and unfortunately, you do. It comes with the territory. I also put on the gear and had to. Because it's a war zone is what we're trained for in that situation. So there were a lot of people who approached that I couldn't trust to be on our side or to be neutral. So you do have to take them out.
Well, and even if it's someone who looks like you should trust them, you don't know if it's a robot. Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah. Well, and this is something that they taught me is people lie. People actually lie about this stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so you already knew. For me, that's huge news flash for my mind. So,
no, I found it out when I was a little kid. My mom told me.
Okay. I thought there was gonna be a story, but that's just
No.
you were just informed. Okay. But yeah, anyway, that's honestly the main update on it is like it's militarized. Usually there's a tank, maybe 2 or 3, just around. But I would say that's a sign that it's medical care. But honestly, normal ice cream trucks also have this. It's really. But obviously go to it. Just bear in mind that there's a certain way to do it.
And I am going to say they do have like a teledoc service now. Don't use it. Absolutely, do not use it. Please. No.
No, it's so what they can do with satellites these days.
Yeah, you don't even really want to know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's the update on that. So this next clip is actually from, and it's not a clip show, but this next clip is from when we did the pledge drive. So for those who don't remember, who didn't go back and make sure to listen to episodes 136 and I think 148 might have been this one. So this one is just so important to, when we have the pledge drives, to follow the directions. It became a huge problem, and I'm not sure how much it goes into it, but the directions are so important. But yeah, so we had a fundraiser. Everyone was calling in. It was a lot of fun. We did it for 6 weeks straight, no sleep, which was fun.
Yes.
And we barely were hospitalized for the next few months after that. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, just like not even a good hospital. It was a really crappy one.
Yeah. Well, because we were part of the fundraiser money ended up going to build it, and we did not raise much.
No.
I think we might have lost, actually. Anyway, I guess. Anyway, so that's the.
No, we found it after.
Okay, yeah.
We did lose it for a few months.
Yeah.
The money that we raised, but I found it under the
woods,
garbage bin.
Okay. In the wood. Yeah. Okay.
In the woods. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, that should set up the clip. Now it should make sense.
Yes.
So let's just keep those calls coming in. And just remember, like, whenever you call in, you don't have to give the information through you don't have to give the money through the call. You should go ahead and round up those quarters, put them in an envelope, mail them to our address. And some people have been asking. Do
the right thing.
Yeah. People have been asking, what address? And I have to hope that the callers are getting that they know what the address is. Because I don't know the address. But you're going to want to mail the quarters.
Feels like that's something that seems like DJ Dylan's job.
Nope.
Yeah. So we have been getting a few of these questions. Just know that there's an address you should send it to and find that out. So that should take care of that. Okay. Wow, we're really moving along here, and I feel like we're about to make progress. It feels like we're on the precipice over and over here, and I'm just so pumped about this pledge drive. Honestly, Cameron, what do you love most about this network?
Oh gosh, Dr. London, there's so many different things. I love the podcasts, and I love how they work in any podcast or most of the podcast apps. Not every single one, but most of them. I like that the audio fidelity.
Yes.
And the file sizes of the podcast are reasonable.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot of podcasts don't go for that. And I think it really shows. It really shows whenever it comes time to, maybe get recognized by some big publications.
Yeah, just saying like, oh, it's nice that this isn't, this is like a 70 megabyte file rather than like 120.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and keep on trucking on. Let's see. Ooh, here's another great podcast. This one's actually a personal favorite. And Cameron, I know you've been on this one a number of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we're, of course, going to talk about My Dad Wrote a Disturbing Manifesto. Okay, so
That's right, Dr. London. It is the epic readings of host Devin Donson's. He found his father's manifestos tucked away in the attic. He decided to make a show based around it. And boy, oh boy, just every single episode, they go through a new chapter in his father's extremely disturbing, extremely violent and graphic manifesto. My dad wrote a disturbing manifesto. You can download that on any podcasting app, Dr. London.
Yeah. It's so exciting because, it's one of these things you think of, whenever you think of manifestos, you're thinking, the Unabomber, you're thinking, all these kind of people. But remember, whenever you were guesting on the podcast, and once again, you were on, it seemed more like Devin Donson, the host. It seemed like he was more just trying to understand it. And then your approach has been to see, can we apply some of these things to our lives? Is this realistic?
Yeah, he was making a lot of sense about how the average person is basically a robot. They don't have a soul, and they don't have like a conscious or sense of morality or like an inner self.
Okay.
And so in that way, you've got your people, your regular people, your normal people who have a soul, and then you've got everyone else. And so in a way, if those people aren't really people, then they're really more like animals. So morally, you can see them sort of more like meat. So in terms of like hurting those people or locking them in a cage or, producing meat with their bones, all of those things sort of make a lot of sense to me, Dr. London. And those are sort of the lessons that you sort of learn on this kind of show. Yeah, as he's going, oh, my dad is psychotic. My dad was disgusting. Why is he talking so much about like he has to align the stars with the amount of people on Earth or something?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm looking at it with an open mind and saying, yeah, of course, I see that a lot of people really are just sort of robots who don't have a soul.
Yeah. And what I found to be really interesting is so you went to that podcast, My Dad Wrote a Disturbing Manifesto, and then you would back to back, you would go from there to Your Favorite Murder and, talk to Gareth and Grace about murdering animals. And is this like, you presented the idea. First time you went on, you were like, oh yeah, that's bad. I like that cat. And then gradually you seem to have changed opinions a little bit because, well, with your comparing
a little bit. I mean, if humans without souls or a consciousness, which is like 90% of people who don't think like I do, if they're basically animals, then that means animals are basically like bugs. And I don't care about killing bugs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about like stepping on a cockroach or whatever.
Okay. Well, roaches, sure.
And that makes bugs, I guess, are plants.
And then plants, of course, are ground.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so plants, it's fine to, I guess, walk on them all the time, just like you would the ground, I guess. And then I think ground is as low as you can go, so.
So, yeah, there's no way to demote the ground. Okay. Yeah, so, anyway, I guess sort of the weird part for me has been watching the progression of, well, for one thing, of course, my dad wrote a Disturbing Manifesto. You've kind of just been explaining all of it. More at this point, you've been explaining it to the host quite a bit. Like,
yeah, because he doesn't get it. Every single time he's like, I'm confused by this. Why did my dad think this way? And I'm just trying to like shine a light into his life and say like, dude, this is what he obviously meant. And it makes sense. Have you not seen how the stars align with the amount of people on Earth? And that if that becomes off balance, then it causes a great evil to join the Earth. And that it's our job to restore that balance.
Yeah, a lot of strange vibes. And then, of course, whenever you go back to, once again, Your Favorite Murder, you tell Gareth and Grace, you're reading off the manifesto at that point.
I think it's important for people to know. I mean, I've mentioned it quite a bit on this show, but you always tell Dylan to cut it out.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping it would be on it's sort of a cross-promotional thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going on other shows and reading from this manifesto, I'm basically advertising for My Dad Wrote a Disturbing Manifesto.
So that we were talking about other podcasts on the Koala Cola Podcast Network, which is what we're on. And yeah, so do you want to give, well, I guess I can explain to some extent. You've been saying for a while the stars are way out of alignment. and also the people are out of alignment, and you've been fixing that.
One by one.
Now.
One by one.
Okay. But has this been, because I know that you went on to that, your favorite murder, and like you've opened up a little bit about your methods. You haven't been killing people, right? You've been just...
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay. If two people are standing on the edge of a cliff, and one of those people slips and falls, is that the other person's fault?
I mean, but depends. Like, did you push them?
No. Did my shoes have like grease on it, so it greased up the rocks?
Okay.
And then he stood on the grease spot and then slipped and fell? Is that my fault?
Did you risk falling too with your grease shoes?
Oh, not with my balance.
Okay, well, I guess, is this a theoretical or is this a specific thing that happened? And is this what happened one by one to every...
This is the second one.
Okay. So I was going to ask, because there aren't any cliffs nearby, so I guess you just drove okay. Yeah, okay. But how do you determine that they are out of alignment? I don't want to like overly preach your... it's not your manifesto. It's obviously borrowed, but this teaching. How do you...
Well, it goes back to the astrology that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
And so, Virgos, those are bad. The lion one, that's bad.
Taurus?
That's fine. I guess neutral.
Pisces?
Pisces is on thin ice.
Okay.
It's good for right now. But if things keep getting out of whack and get unaligned, then...
Now what if you kind of used it wrong? And it's sort
used what wrong?
If you tried to do your sign and it's wedged in and it's in just this awkward kind of clogging position.
Oh, right. No judgment, no beef with that.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a lot.
I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot more sympathy than I was expecting for. Well, I guess.
Well, just like you're nothing to me.
Okay.
So it doesn't cross my mind.
Right. It's I'm ground.
Yeah.
Or plant equivalent.
Well, it's not, I'm not like fixated on like, getting rid of all the ladybugs because they don't even cross my mind. I don't think about it.
But if they were bigger than ladybug, that part.
I don't think about getting rid of like all the llamas or something. Those are pretty big.
Okay.
Because I don't care. That means nothing to me.
Okay, but these people who are, it is just their horoscopes.
Yeah.
Okay. You just
Virgos. I said the lion one, right?
Yeah.
And then I said one of them is on really thin
Pisces,
ice.
You said yes.
Pisces are really thin ice, really close. If one more Pisces.
And you said that. So you did it. The darkest one. Is that good in your according to the manifesto?
I'm the dark lunar.
Yeah.
I'm the dark moon.
Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah, that's the coolest one.
Okay.
But also we're sneaky.
Okay.
So we're super sneaky.
And that's good for according to this manifesto.
It's good for pickpocketing and shoplifting and stuff.
Well, it's
which the book does go into quite a bit, or the manifesto does, shoplifting and the importance of that.
Yeah. Okay, and that's if I'm going to be honest here, I didn't listen to all the episodes where you went on the other pod. Eventually, you got very repetitive. I guess because for a while, I guess you only read the first chapter.
Well, I mean, I listened to the first chapter through the audiobook, yeah.
Right, which I recorded. So I should remember some of this, honestly.
I would think so, but the manifesto is sort of written in a way that makes you forget the specific words, but then trains your brain to follow it, if that makes sense.
Well, and I'll say, in medicine, I learned a lot of words, and I regurgitate them enough that, eventually it kind of just, it's not all in your mind. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that, the listeners had an update on you and your and the borrowed manifesto.
Yeah, no, I mean it's never-ending work.
Yeah. How much work have you done, and how much do you need to do? I guess we can end on this.
It's just,
because this is a chore, more or less.
Okay, I haven't started yet, but I'm gonna get around to it after the end of the year. Well,
no, that's very soon. It's like within a week.
Yeah.
Is this your resolution?
After that, yes, to finally get started on doing the work to
align the stars with the population.
But do you think the grease foot thing you think that'd work?
I think that if your plan is to start out by greasing your own feet,
you think that might backfire? Okay.
Well, just foot fires more because grease fire. Yeah.
But if it did work, it wouldn't be my fault, right?
I also don't know that that's this is one of those things that like I wish I had a Mr. Lawyer doll.
Oh yeah. They're so expensive.
Prohibitively.
And they say some of the meanest things to me.
Yeah.
I can't emotionally handle it a lot.
When they're not in the court of law, when they're just consulting you. So when Mr. Lawyer is consulting you, he will destroy. Like you think Eminem's bad.
Yeah. He baits you into
Lawyer.
these arguments that you don't even about topics you don't care about, don't even want to be talking about, just to make you look like a fool in front of your girlfriend that he is. Remember, he's alpha to you. He's stolen her.
Yeah. And is not shy about it after maybe a few days, he's no longer giving any sign of pretending that it's normal.
Yeah, no, he's cupping her breast most of the time, and she loves it.
Yeah, and they're both making eye contact with you as that's happening, and you're supposed to you don't know what to do. You're wondering, am I supposed to play this casual or should I be upset?
Again, you're not sure if it's part of the discovery process of
research.
This lawyer's research. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, on that note, I guess I get Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday, and also what's another? I feel like I'm going to say it wrong.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, Coca-Cola. Yes, Happy Coca-Cola, and thank you. My name is drlondonsmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
See ya.